Tell us about acting with Angela Bassett.
That was great. They like going in, I was a little nervous because it's like growing up watching this woman just chew scenery and just kill and murder scenes.
She's a legend.
Legend. And there's always the nerves that come with like meeting your heroes, because you're like, please be cool. Please don't show a different face. And when I tell you, I got on set and she was just the most delightful human to be around. Like between the scenes was just as much fun as shooting the scenes themselves.
Yeah.
So, and when you're with somebody that you can learn from somebody like that just by sitting in close proximity for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been fortunate with a few actors in my career where I've been able to kind of learn just by having to go against them or be in the scene, sharing those moments with them.
Dope. What would you say you learned from her?
I think just how natural she is. Like there is something about her that she is so in herself as far as like she knows exactly who she is and she sits in that presence. And because of that, there's almost no difference between the acting and between her living because she has erased those lines where she can just live honestly in that moment. And it was amazing to see it in person and be across from it because you're like, oh man, I'm trying too hard. It's like that. I don't need to try. I just need to be honest, which I think that translates across all art forms, music,
Absolutely.
acting, whatever. Like
Absolutely.
knowing yourself is a superpower and it presents itself when you really sit in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And talk about her as a person. You mentioned it a little bit, and how in between the scenes she was nice and everything. Like, talk more about that.
Yeah, she like as we sat there, she just kind of asked questions because a lot of it too is, and I learned this from her that I carried on to like when I led my own film and everything was when you're with somebody that's coming into an environment you're already familiar with. There was like this comforting thing that she did. We're just like kind of getting to know us a little bit and just chopping it up and just keeping it really light. And that way it doesn't allow you to sort of get in your head as we all tend to do of like, okay, I hope the director likes this. And you don't have time to think about that because, she's just sort of like chopping it up with you and asking questions about you and then telling jokes about some other actor that she knows that we all know on set kind of a thing, But it just took a lot of the pressure off and it didn't allow me to like get in my head.
That's amazing. That's super dope. That, like you said, sometimes when you meet your heroes, it can be a different way. And I hate hearing stories about, famous people that I looked up to, and then you hear like they're assholes, or you hear this and that. But so it's amazing to hear that she is as pleasant as she seems and as great as she seems, because like I said, she's a legend. Yeah. Like one of the GOATs in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So that's dope. All right, let's talk about Boris Chestnut. You work with him as well.
Yeah.
Actually, let me go back. So talk more about, for those who may not have seen it, what was the scene with Angela Bassett? What were you doing?
So in that it was 911, and it was a scene where her and the character Henny were going through it because Henny's character is a black lesbian woman. And she is having a lot of difficulty with some of the discrimination that she's facing in her own in her own crew, because you've got like the firehouses, you got the EMTs and everything. She's an EMT, and so she's having some issue in her house. And so Angela's character is like, well, come with me. I want you to meet some of my old friends. And so my character was actually a gay firefighter from another house, and so I was giving her essentially like kind of that pep talk of like, look, this is how it went down with me. And for a while it was sideways, and then I just realized I don't have to bend to that. And so it was a beautiful like empowering sort of storyline. And there was another guest star on there as well, who was an officer who was a woman who had to deal with her own discrimination on the force. So it was really dealing with the, for those of us in marginalized communities, whether it be those of us who are people of color or individuals in the LGBTQ community that sort of having to navigate multiple worlds when so many other people only have to navigate one.
Mm-hmm.